everybody, I was thinking of doing this video for a little bit of time now because of the state of the Japanese Pokemon market and the state of the Japanese economy, really. There's a couple of different things to think about when buying Japanese Pokemon cards, and they all kind of come together in a big jumbly mess, and I'm hoping to untangle that for a lot of people here today. I've gotten very efficient at buying large amounts of Japanese Pokemon boxes for sale at trade shows or for personal storage, investment purposes, what have you. The reason why I like Japanese Pokemon cards for storing, especially unopened boxes, is they're really, really efficient. There's not a whole lot of ancillary products. There's not ETBs. They have them, but they're not very popular. So you can get like a Crown Zenith as V-Star Universe, and you can have that in just a nice little tight booster box. And that's where all the magic is, and that's a really good store of value per square foot. So if you're very space conscious, if you don't have a lot of room to work with, you're not sitting on 6, 8, 10 storage lockers or whatever, or like a garage that's temperature controlled that you've got like a wall of stuff stacked up in it, Japanese Pokemon cards are a really good option for storing and holding value. And I really like that right now they're cheap. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a lot less eyes on it than there was 6 months, a year ago, when everyone was gaga for waifus and everyone was gaga for Japanese 151. Seems like the Japanese market has gotten a lot better at printing to demand, not necessarily local demand, but international demand, which is very, very weird for them, I imagine. But it's something where I want to highlight a couple things for how can you be efficient in getting your cards to you without breaking the bank and with making sure that you're using your dollars wisely. So there's a couple of key things that I want to go over here, and I'm going to talk about this from the perspective of Mercari and Bai. The number one thing you want to do is you want to wait for a 15% off coupon in Bai. This is just free money that you're leaving on the table if you buy outside of that window. They seem to have these sales every, I don't know, month, 2 months, for a week, 2 weeks at a time. That is your key point to be like, hey, I'm going to pull the trigger here. I'm going to pull the trigger now on these cards. So if you want to, between now and then, if you want to save up money, if you want to kind of be really efficient with it, if you want to kind of write out what it is that you're looking for, what it is you're wanting to stash away or to open, it's a really good way of doing things. Number two is you're going to want to buy a collection. Not necessarily somebody's like binder full of cards. Obviously, that's not really what we're looking for, but a lot of people will have done what you're thinking of doing, and they will have given up, or they will have had to move, or they will have had an unexpected bill come due. Especially with the Japanese economy being really kind of weak right now, what you'll see is you'll see somebody posting, I'm maybe going to pull the trigger here on a 67 box lot. That's a ton of boxes. But it is something to where this person had just kind of overextended themselves. The reason why you want to get a big collection like that is because, think about it from your perspective. If you're looking to sell that somewhere else, you're probably going to only get 60 to 80% of what they're worth piecemeal, because you need that now. You're not being efficient with it. You're not selling it through the most lucrative channels. So you're really kind of taking one for the team when you're buying that, or when you're selling that collection, right? If you go up to somebody at a trade show, card show, and be like, hey, I got 80 boxes of this assorted stuff. It's like, well, I need 60 of those, but the other 20 I don't really need. So if you want me to take all of it, I can, but it's not going to be 100% of what you can comp to. So that's an easy way to take a look at things and kind of get already, a 15% by the 15, 20%, even 30, 40% discrepancy sometimes in terms of the box prices for a collection, that's how you can really start to be super efficient. Another thing that you want to do is, what I do is don't overextend yourself. 2% cashback credit cards are available pretty reasonably and in the US. So if you want to use that, that's another 2% off your purchase. We're at 15% plus 20 to 30% plus 2%. You're at about like a 30-40% discount when you add it all up from what you can get, on eBay or on your favorite Japanese reseller here in the US. Another thing you want to think of is tax implications. So the key number, and why you want to kind of save up your time and save up your money to put in a big order, is the key number is $2,500 American, $2,500 US. That's a lot of money, but that's your cap before you automatically trigger the Customs and Border Patrol division, which monitors commerce, which Bai will declare on your behalf when they ship off your goods through FedEx, most likely. They're going to tell the CBP, hey, this package contains trading cards. It costs, or it is valued at this much money. If you are over 2,500, you're going to incur paperwork. You're going to directly incur a tax receipt that you will then have to file, and that would go on your taxes. So if you're planning on reselling these things, you should and you will, if you are a law-abiding citizen, declare those things on your annual taxes. But if you don't want to do the paperwork, or you don't want to have to store that somewhere, and you have your own way of keeping track of this, or if it's for your personal use, or if you're going to sell it as a collectible or a something 10 years down the road, not as big of a deal because you can go back in your records and look. But that's kind of your mark. Your mark of my ceiling is 2,500. That's why I said before, if you remember, I said we're going to kind of save up and we're going to wait until we get a 15% off coupon, and we're going to make sure we kind of have our scratchbook of what it is we want. Another thing to keep in mind is who you're buying from. I haven't returned anything through Bai yet, but they are more protective of the Japanese sellers than they are of you. So you want to make sure that you pick from a highly reputable seller. Somebody preferably with hundreds, if not thousands, of stars / feedback at a 4-star or above rating. The rationale here is pretty simple. It's just like you would on eBay. Are you going to choose the 1-star seller, the 30-star seller who might have just been buying stuff and is now trying to sell stuff? And also, if you click through their profile, if they've sold $8, $7, $8, $7, 30 times, and now you're going to buy $1,800 of cards from them, maybe don't. Maybe don't, because that person could have been fluffing their feedback with small dollar things for a couple of weeks. Their account might not be very old, and then they're selling you something which is, repackaged, searched, whatever. On that note, the incidents, the people's nervousness about Amazon scams or repacking, reselling, reshrink wrapping things, I feel like that's way overblown. I feel like that really doesn't happen often now. It's really not worth it for a lot of these boxes for them to do that anymore, which is part of the reason why I credit Pokemon Company Japan really doing well in terms of managing their inventory and supply. So I'm going to go over the list and I'll put it up here. But to talk about the things that we just went over, you're going to want to wait for that 15% off coupon. You're going to probably want to search for a collection that has the boxes that you're interested in. That's super important, right? Because you want to be efficient and you want to kind of take advantage of somebody else's needing to move their product. And you're going to take some other stuff with them, with that collection that you might not have known you wanted, or maybe you didn't want, but you're willing to take it. 2% back credit card. You're going to have to pay for Bai shipping services in the end, and you're going to have to pay for the outlay of that capital. So you're going to want to use that credit card in the near term and pay it off in full, so you're not eating any interest charges. Just be efficient with a credit card. If you don't know how that works, if you need kind of advice on how to use credit cards effectively, let me know down below. But really what you should just be using it for is the free money that they offer, the free perks that they offer. Don't use it to keep yourself afloat. Don't use it to go into debt for Pokemon cards. Not worth it. Don't do that. And then finally, your benchmark is $2,500. For some people, that will be the entire 2 years worth of investing. So it pays for you to be really diligent when time comes to actually buy those things, and to work from there. Once you have your collection or your small lots that you can buy, one thing you can do on Buy, which I really like, is you buy a bunch of smaller lots and then you have them repackage them together and ship them off to you. Love that service. That's the primary thing that they really do. And it is something which you can take advantage of if you find 3, 4, 5, 6 small lots that you think suit your bill for what it is you're trying to do. And finally, if you want to be ultra efficient here, what is it that is kind of the most cost effective versus the shipping cost to procure? Firstly, it's going to be slabs, right? The differential in price between Buy on Japan side versus eBay on the US side is not insignificant. They do have a PSA office over there, and they seem to have created probably too many cards. In particular, there's really, really inexpensive V-Star Universe cards you can get. You can get the Mewtwo and the Charizard together for like $70, PSA 10. Love those cards, love that scene. I think that's a super great buy. But if you're not interested in slabs and you're interested in holding sealed product, or you're interested in getting a bunch of sealed product to open for your streams, for your breaks, whatever, the next most efficient thing is going to be the high-class sets. The high-class sets, for instance, V-Star Universe, Shiny Treasure EX, VMAX Climax. There's also some non-high-class ones from Sword and Shield, which you can get that come in the small kind of direct rectangle boxes. Those ones are going to be your most efficient because they are expensive for how much space they take up. And then the next one's going to be regular series boxes. So let's say Wild Force, Cyber Judge. It's why investors in America prefer booster boxes, right? It's super easy to store them. They are efficient as anything space-wise. So the high-class sets and the regular series sets for Japanese are the same way. You want to get those as kind of the bulk of your purchase because when it comes time to ship them, you're not shipping a bunch of air. You're not shipping a bunch of cardboard folded and manicured and put into various shapes and sizes to go in between things, or plastic inserts, or what have you. And when you're shipping stuff from Japan to the US, space matters. Weight matters. So you want to be efficient with your purchase on that front as well. And finally, the least efficient things to pack in there are the collection boxes and so forth and so on. Caveat there being, some of the best performing Japanese products have some sort of promo in them and have come in those boxes. So if we think back a couple years to the XY promos, the Mario, Luigi, Pikachu. Imagine if you had purchased, when those came out, 20, 30 of them, right? That would be great. We can't go back in time and do that, but you might know of, or you might find a specific collection box right now that is inexpensive in Japan and worth a lot over here. The one that immediately comes to mind for me is the 25th anniversary Golden Collection box. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's worth more later than it is now? It's about $250 right now in Japan. Take 15% off of that. It's about $200 and change. And then it sells on eBay here for about $300. That may be worth it to some people. But you're going to incur more shipping charge because it's a big box. It's going to come, a big footprint, and you kind of have to think about that. So that's kind of the rubric that I think of when I do this and when I am looking at what to buy from Japan. The thing that I like the most about this is that if you look at your cost per box, you're getting those discounts I would say most things that you can find on Mercari through Bai are 15, 20, 30% less than what the sellers on eBay here in the US or through their own stores are in the US are giving you. You combine that with the 15% off coupon that they offer you on Mercari. You combine that with the collection where you're getting another 20, 30, 40% off. Combine that with a 2% off credit card. And then you're not paying sales tax fees since it is a international broker sending things over to you. And then you declare that on your tax in the end once you've actually sold them. It says it's a personal item until you've sold it. So it really kind of works out well to, in the end, get you 30, 40, 50% off what, the lowest prices you can get here right now are for current needs. If you're looking at like Shiny Treasure EX, the most recent shiny set, blah, blah, blah. You're getting that for like 20, 22 bucks, all said and done. It's not what I'm buying right now. One more thing that I would note is if you're looking to be extra, super, ultra efficient, try and get those sets that are 18, 20 months, 24 months old, 2 years old at that point. That's kind of the window for reprints for Japan. So right now we're seeing the last reprints for Lost Abyss, Incandescent Arcana. That is the Lost Origin, that is the Silver Tempest of Japan. The one thing that I am getting a lot of right now is V-Star Universe. A lot of V-Star Universe has been graded, but I think people are going to love that set forever. I don't see any reason why, if you have the means and you're as involved in this hobby as you are if you found my video, to be honest, that you're not picking up 10, 20, 30 boxes of V-Star Universe as pricing allows through a reputable vendor. It's just a great set. So think about that thing if you're trying to be ultra efficient as well. Luckily with collections like that, you're generally going to find stuff where people have picked up one or two of things over the past year from here, there, and everywhere. So you're going to get some of that older stuff as well. So hopefully this has made it so you're not so intimidated to try, or at least go on Mercari Bai and see what grabs your interest. A new coupon just dropped today. It is June 17th, I think. So June 17th or 18th. So you got like a week to go peruse, find a collection you like. The sell-through rate on there is really, really good. Service experience has been really, really good. Once it comes time to ship things, you're not gonna like how much it costs to ship things, but if you're being efficient, like I said, and getting up to that like $1,500, $1,800 range, you're really making back the money of the shipping and then some with that 15% off coupon. So be as efficient as you can, and then also like if you're getting some high price slabs, that 15% off is just free. There's just absolutely free, and you're already getting it for less than what you can get on eBay. So take a look if there's something you've been looking for on the Japanese market, either box-wise or singles or slabs-wise. It's a great time to check it out. Hopefully you're not scared, you're not nervous. Hopefully these steps that I've laid out help you to understand how it is to protect yourself and to be as effective as possible in getting the lowest price boxes to you quickly. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.